Working on my, I am working on my 2001 Ram truck water pump, and if you run into the problem where your tube just won't fit, sand the paint off and use just a little bit of grease. Although I think grease on that O-ring may be a bad idea, but I don't have a choice at the moment. But I thought I'd let you know. The thickness of that paint seems to be just too much, but I put it on a drill bit stuffed in the hole, and then I turned it with my drill with some sandpaper to get that paint off, and then I kept on going to see if I could get a little metal off of it to make it fit a little easier, but it just would not fit no matter what I did. The old one I tried to hammer in and it broke, so this one I tried to lathe type method to get that paint and maybe the metal down just a little bit. I highly doubt that O-ring is going to fit, so I'll probably use a Permatex product to seal it. But if that O-ring goes in, that'd be awesome, but I doubt it. In fact, I may go in there and clean that grease off and go ahead and use the Permatex. Yep, I think that's what I'm gonna do. Anyway, hope this helps somebody. You're putting one of these tubes in. It's called the inlet tube on a water pump. It goes to the heater core. You might need to take the paint down like I did, and maybe a smidgen of metal using a good sandpaper, and again using the drill bit and a cordless drill like a lathe. It didn't take very long. It was harder trying to get it, like I used electric tape wrapped around the drill bit so you get some grip. So as it was spinning, I could grab it with the sandpaper so it didn't just sit and spin without turning. So there's probably other ways, but I think getting that metal down just a tad bit, about half the thickness of the paint, is also the key. Hope this helps. Alright, I'm still working on this 2001 Ram. This is not really a Ram related issue, other than the alternator is not internally regulated, the way I understand it. And I think this battery falls over from time to time, or at least seeps, because this stuff that's on top, I keep wiping it off, it comes right back. It's only here, kinda. But I'm told that when a battery goes bad, this post will start leaking and cause this corrosion. But what I'm here about is, see how dusty that is? I learned this from the concrete workers. Concrete dust causes cancer. You don't want to breathe it. You don't want to breathe this stuff either. You don't want to blow it all over your stuff. The wind right now is blowing across me, but what you do, or at least what I'm going to do, is I'm going to wet it. That's what they do. And then when I wet it, it won't be dusty. It'll be pasty, unfortunately, which also causes that. So when I take that battery out, I'll be cleaning this whole area, getting all that acid up, because I don't want to get that on me later on. I don't want it to spread. And awesomely, I think that is. And then let's see, that's 27-3. Okay, 19 at the bottom. So that's 2019, about halfway through the year. It's like a 6/19. This is October 2024. So that's 4.5 years. That's about right for these batteries. So I'm going to try a different battery, because I happen to have one. I had to buy an emergency one. It's not exactly the same size, but because of the way this thing bolts in, I think I can make it work. It's got enough cranking amps, it just ain't the same size battery. So that'll be my next project, is cleaning this stuff up. I might make a video, I don't know. That's not something you really need, but I may make it anyway. It's something else I need to do. I'm just looking in there, see how black that is? I'm not sure, but I think that's because water gets in it. Mechanics will take that out and refill it and over again to add some new, but they don't necessarily do all the lines. I may do all the lines next year, but I think I am going to remove some of that, add some more, remove some, add some, because you don't really want to go below that line, this right here. You don't want to go below that for fear of air bubbles. That's a whole nother project, but you can cycle. And what I got some in there, I got some stuff that's been opened. I can just use it, cycle it. It's better than what I have. See some more stuff over I need to work on. I don't know what that deal is there, but I don't see it. I don't know what that goes to just yet, but it appears to be there. Might talk about tune-ups on this thing one day. Used to, we had tune-ups, and these days the tune-up is things like that TPS, some other sensors like that. No offense to the mechanics out there, but you can diagnose those things, or you go to AutoZone, type in sensors, see how much replacing all your sensors cost, because all they are is plug and play for the most part. But look that up. There's probably some out there that ain't. But on this truck, as far as I can tell, it is. Same thing with fuel injectors and such. And I know from a GMC truck I used to have, ran horribly. I couldn't figure it out. Took to the dealer. Turned out to be that throttle position sensor. Although they did not figure that out, interestingly enough. And so what I ended up doing is replacing every sensor. My transmission wasn't changing properly, and I lived with it for a couple of years because the GM dealership couldn't figure it out. They kept it for 7 days and said they didn't know what was wrong with it. Then finally I decided just to mass change stuff until I figured it out. And that's when I figured out that you can go to AutoZone, which is where I went. The other sites don't seem to be as good about this. Type in sensors, see how much it costs for every one of them, and believe it or not, I was able, this particular truck, because it only has like 5 or 6 of them, I was able to buy every sensor less than I was able to pay for the diagnostic and the change. So I just changed them all in my truck. Not only did it start changing gears properly, my truck started working better. So I had some other sensors getting out of calibration, I guess. But anyway, I think these days doing that's probably good. Had I realized it when I took all that mess off to do that water pump, there is a little bitty sensor down in there. Looks like it'd be a pain in the butt to get to, but it was an awesome moment to get it. This truck has 160,000 miles. I'm sure that sensor gonna need something eventually. Matter of fact, the cam sensors and crankcase sensors and all that kind of stuff probably need it. So I'll probably do the mass change out soon, just because you're gonna need it eventually. And this truck needs to last me another 10 years. All it really does is pull my truck, or pull my boat. That bolt down there, just give you a tip, it comes off righty tighty, lefty loosey. It comes off the same way. It ain't backward threaded, in other words. And I used an air chisel and just hit on the very end, and it loosened it. But I saw another guy that used a metal bar, put it right on the end and hit it with a hammer, and it loosened it. So if you ever run across that, the little air hammer was like $9 at Harbor Freight, I believe, or Walmart. Wasn't very expensive, and it has been useful a few times over the years. So if you get down to that nut right there, try the little air chisel right on the edge, let it run a couple times, and it'll start moving. Heck of a lot easier than trying to hold that blade. And if you take that shroud off, and you got to take that fan off, absolutely, no matter what you think, how good you are, or whatever it is, put something in front of that radiator, because that fan, as you come out, it's sharp, it hits those aluminum fins. That's a bad day. Is exactly what I did. And so what I'm doing is I'm filling the truck back up with all water to see if my radiator is leaking because of that little nick I hit. And I never could actually confirm where my leak was coming from. From the bottom, I saw it all the way up to about that inlet tube, but I never could confirm anything after that. So I replaced the water pump and the thermostat housing, and because of the possibility it could be a freeze out plug or something else, hopefully not a cracked block, but I'm gonna fill it up with water and leak test it, and then I'm gonna take that bottom hose off over there and try to get as much water out of this thing as I can. And then I'll do the old style like I had my 67 Chevelle, the way we used to do it. I got a antifreeze checker. I'm going to pour in probably 1 gallon of water and then 1 gallon of concentrate. No, I'll probably do that backwards. I'll probably do the 1 gallon of concentrate and then start topping it off with water, because having a little bit more antifreeze seems like that can't hurt. I'm gonna buy the good stuff. Prestone's got a really good version that I think they use up north. There's a 10-year warranty one, or 10,000 mile one, and then a 20,000 mile, I believe. But this is the one I did use, and I poured half out and then water, and then I filled this back up with water. Made my own 50-50 blend, but 10 years, 300,000 miles. To be honest with you, that's probably technically true, but when you're dealing with old vehicles, don't count on it. Shit happens, and you lose your antifreeze. That car over there, I put a Chinese knockoff thermostat housing on it. It lasted 6 months and broke, so all that really expensive antifreeze I put in there, gone. But this is the Platinum. This is the one I'm going to be using. This is a 50-50 mix. I've already diluted it. They're stages of expensive, but the main thing is they're mixable, supposedly. So I'm putting all mixable in, because when you put in different stuff, you tend to forget over the years, when you have to add to it, what the heck you put in it. And then you start doubting yourself, because you know you could have put something different in there. So oh yeah, I gotta figure out where that goes to. I got a feeling it holds up those two cables right over there, but I'm not sure. See you later. Anybody knows why the PVC valve, positive pressure PVC valve, rattles like that constantly, and in the winter time it rattles like crazy? I have no idea why, but if anybody knows, let me know, please. Hear it and kind of hear the noises. Anyway, well, that's why you get a clear, spill-proof funnel. I do recommend getting one. They have some nice perks over just a plain funnel. One of them being this, letting this air get all that out of here. Looks like with all that air coming out, you'd think it'd be taking some water in, though. Or maybe it is. We've been able to see it from this far away. And so I'm turning the heater on so we get air coming through, or air out of my heater core. As soon as I started it up, I heard it rush in there. Of course, the heater core is under the dash, and then I turned it off for about a minute, then I started it again. Just to give some bubbles a chance to get out without getting my motor too hot. I don't get so far the temperature is not moving, so that's good. I do have a torque adapter. Now that I'm thinking of it, So I'm gonna hook that up. There, it's moving now. So I'm gonna give it just a little quick rev. Just give a few bubbles a chance, and I'm gonna turn it off. I'm gonna leave the accessories on so this Bluetooth will work. But yeah, I still like to get that just a little higher, but so that stuff that's in this tube right there can make its way over, because right now if it goes this way it could be a bubble just stuck there. I don't know that one little bubble hurts much, but you know, why do it wrong if I can do it right? But anyway, just thought I'd let you know. Alright, this is another little quick clip. So I'm hoping you can hear this. Watch it not do it again. But so I'm putting the water in and my heater core. So listen to you can almost hear the water rush in. So I'm gonna hopefully